Welcome to DROD'S MMA and Boxing. You know, guys, sometimes a fighter can have so much success, and that success could be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. You know, our greatest strength can also be our greatest weakness. And in the case with Mr. Connor McGregor, he's had so much success with his style of being a wild man, a wild bull, and being able to put people to sleep effortlessly with one single punch that over the years he has not spent time actually perfecting the craft of martial art. You know, a lot of people say, oh, it's because he's not developing with the time, and maybe, you know, his style has gotten pretty much outdated. I don't think so. For example, here he threw a beautiful spinning back kick, and he threw two spinning back kicks back to back. I mean, he's very wild when he comes in his approach to MMA, and he's found great success in doing so. But the problem is that he never finds his range. He never finds his rhythm or finds his opponent's rhythm. He doesn't know his opponent's range, meaning where it's dangerous and where it's not dangerous. And he throws these nice kicks. For example, this front kick was a nice kick to the midsection that got Dustin's attention. But it's called a push kick in Muay Thai for a reason, because you're pushing your opponent back. So he's really pushing his opponent out of range. And he likes to throw this front kick and then follow up with punches. The problem is that if you hit someone with a front kick and they move back a couple of inches, then they're no longer in the same position to be punched. And he uses this combination quite often. This has nothing to do with him being outdated. It's just poor choice of technique. So he throws his punch out of range. Look at his heel comes off the ground. So he's off balance. This is not being outdated, it's just poor technique. He's not in range, which causes him to be off balance, and his heel comes off the mat, which is a very dangerous thing, because this is where people can roll their ankles. Your feet should be on the mat, and you should drag your feet when you're throwing that lead punch. You see on the left, Connor was in punching range, and on the right was the distance created from the front kick. So when Connor does throw the front kick, Dustin is far out of range, and he should not be throwing this punch. And I shared a video on this, and I showed how Connor was, consistently throwing punches when he shouldn't be throwing punches. Here he threw a nice, beautiful back kick to the side of Dustin, and I believe this really got Dustin's attention. I mean, he really made up for the fact that in the previous fights that he had more of a boxing style, and I believe in this fight he really wanted to show that he was a mixed martial artist. The only problem is that he didn't correct the fact that he's always off balance. Here, Dustin, it looks like he did try to block it with his elbow. It's hard to tell, but he did crunch over. Honestly, I didn't see where this could have affected Connor, because as you'll see later on in this video, Connor doesn't stop throwing kicks. He'll just keep throwing these kicks over and over again. So I cracked my shin and both my ankles, and I'm telling you, if you do that, you'll know instantly that you cracked something. You won't be able to stand. So here you can see he actually went back. He threw another leg kick. It looked like Dustin checked it, but if you look at the bend of Dustin's waist, you can tell that Connor definitely got a lot of Dustin's leg in that exchange. So, again, no signs of him being hurt or having a cracked shin, as he'll continue throwing these leg kicks. And he threw them with effortlessly. He threw them with some command to him, with some snap to him. But, again, the problem is that he's not in range. Like you see here, his foot's stationary. And Dustin is far out, but Dustin makes a step to the right, giving himself the anger and ability to throw that punch. Connor, again, if you look at that left leg, it comes off the mat, and it darn near bends. Like, he's lucky he didn't break his ankle on this exchange. So he doesn't, and he'll continue fighting. But a lot of it I see is just basically he's off balance, and he's putting himself in a very dangerous position. Here, Dustin lands some punches that stun Connor, and I feel like he let Connor off the hook by going into a grappling exchange, with Connor because Connor was definitely hurt. And he goes for this takedown. The problem is that his back is not erect. It's bent over. Connor recognizes this, and he's going to go for this guillotine. The guillotine is going to command Dustin's attention because Dustin wants to pick him up and go for the takedown. The only problem with that is he realizes, wait a minute, this guillotine is pretty tight. And if I take him down, I'm going to get submitted. So Dustin is going to let him go, and he's going to address that guillotine. Now, personally, I prefer a standing guillotine in this situation. The reason being is because when your back is against the cage, you're actually trapping yourself, and you're putting yourself in a very dangerous position. Standing guillotine is a little bit safer in my opinion, because if you lose a position, you just lose a position, but at least you're still on your feet. But a lot of times guys, they don't want to go to the ground, so they're going to resist it, and usually they're going to go to sleep. Connor tries to pull guard. He wants to get that left leg over, but Dustin is going to throw his right hand over Connor's hip. He's going to block it, and they're going to go to the ground. So Dustin's goal is to get to the left side of Connor's body to relieve that choke. Again, look at Connor trapping himself. This is why I said this is a dangerous thing to do, and situational awareness is vitally important when it comes to MMA. Now, Dustin tripods up because, to relieve the choke, but Connor's left arm is still providing leverage. So Dustin's going to take that right hand over the arm, climb the cage to get into a position where he can relieve himself of the choke. Now he's a little bit free now, So Connor again is trapped, and he's going to find himself in a very difficult situation here. I personally think that Connor wanted to be on this ground. I won't say he wanted to be on the ground, but I think he was way too comfortable, and he wasn't really trying to get back up. Here he had perfect bicep control. And I say perfect because this is what kept Dustin from landing this punch. And the exchange here is really, as you see here, they're focusing a lot on this hand, and Connor's making sure that this hand doesn't get free so he doesn't get hit. Mainly because Dustin's right arm is trapped by the cage, so he can't throw that right punch. Connor makes a huge mistake. He starts striking on the bottom without first securing the position. This is still a volatile situation. It's not that I have a problem with people striking from the bottom. The problem is that, listen, you throwing stones and you're in a glass house, my friend, and Dustin's going to let him know. So check this out. Remember I told you there was the grappling exchanges was with that left hand? Well, now Connor is focusing on that left hand to make sure it doesn't get free. But Dustin is now going to realize that his right hand is free, and he's just going to rain down some glory. And he's going to land a lot of punches on Connor. Not all these strikes landed, but those that did really made an impact. Connor does a great job parrying with his hands, and a lot of the shots either miss or his hands absorb a lot of the impact. Because I was sitting back like, man, how is he not getting knocked out? Why is he not bleeding? It's because Connor's doing a good job parrying and taking the brunt of that off of his hand. Like for example, this looked like it landed, but Connor actually parries it with his left hand, and that punch does not land. The commentator's going to go crazy, but nothing ever landed. And so, again, Connor's going to throw some nice kicks. This left hook does land, and Dustin's going to land a couple punches, but as you see here, a lot of them still did not land. This one went over the head. It's because Connor's using his hands to parry a lot of those punches. I would like to see this go on because, it's a 5-round fight for a reason. A lot of people's like, oh, wait a minute. Connor got destroyed. Yeah, he got destroyed in the first round, just like he did with the Chad Mendes fight. You never know what would happen in the later rounds. Dustin lands a beautiful elbow. A lot of the short elbows landed. It was a lot easier for him to land the short elbows. Here is what Dustin was talking about. Glove gate, because Connor was definitely holding inside that glove. Now, Here's another kick. Still nothing there. Connor's doing fine. Here's where Dustin says he used his elbow to block his break the shin. It's hard for me to really tell. I can see he did use his elbow, but the left hand is actually parrying. If you see, the left hand is actually pushing the kick away. So it's hard to tell. Man, look at this break here. Again, Connor throws a front kick. He's going to try to throw a strike. He lifts that foot up, and he sits back on it, just like I showed you earlier. That foot comes off the mat. He's going to stand. He's going to try to bring it back down and sit back. He sits his weight back on it, and it lands on that medulla signal, which, you know, it's hard to tell. I won't make any speculations. But here is the clip of the elbow. You let me know what you think. If you think Conor McGregor broke his leg with the elbow, or was it that Conor just sat back and had a freak accident and being off balance and broke his own ankle? This is DROD'S MMA and Boxing. I personally think that Conor McGregor, if he correct his mistakes, correct his flaws, he'll be all right. You know, it's like George St. Pierre. George St. Pierre was having a hard time, and he went to Freddie Roach, and Freddie Roach helped him fix his balance in his boxing, and he became a better MMA boxer. So that may be an easy thing for Conor to do if he sees fit. He'll be able to fix his mistakes. I don't know. Y'all tell me if he should retire or not, and also let me know how you think he broke his ankle. This is DROD'S MMA and Boxing. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, share the video. Peace.